Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us on a brand new episode of the Untold, the show where we have extraordinary people and talk about all of their extraordinary journeys. I'm your host, Abdullah Hindiani.
And I'm your host, Regina Al-Athari. And today we're joined by Nourah Alhunaidi, who is a cancer survivor who turned into an athlete. And honestly, her journey is so inspiring to hear.
She is, mashallah. When we got the brief about our guest for today, I was like, mashallah, we gotta sit down, we gotta talk to her because, cancer as a disease is one of the most troublesome journeys a person can go through. And to see her go through that, trial with tremendous strength and she became a physical athlete afterward is an admirable thing.
It really is. Cancer isn't easy. It doesn't matter if it's hitting you or someone who is close to you or your loved ones. There's so much emotional, mental turmoil that goes along with the physical. And to see someone take that journey and then overcome it and even go to great lengths and become an athlete, I'm really excited to talk to her and find out how she did it.
Yeah, you are excited. I'm excited. Hopefully, the audience are excited. We're going to take a break so we come back and sit down with her. And we are back on the Untold. Thank you for joining us, but thank you most importantly for you, Nourah Alhunaidi, for being our guest today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. And honestly, your journey is quite an inspiration to us. I heard that you're like a cancer survivor, which is not an easy thing to go through. But before we dive into that, I want to ask you, before your diagnosis, what was your life like? How would you have described yourself emotionally, physically, mentally?
Since early childhood, I led a very active life. And up until I was 18 and went into uni, um, I was playing all sorts of sports. And I focused on volleyball mostly since uni, and that was my main sport. After graduating, work took over, became technically a workaholic, and I felt like I neglected myself. I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential where I want to be in an active sense. So it felt like I was living on autopilot. I wasn't in tune with my body. And once COVID hit, we were staying at home. I wanted a transformation. I think a lot of us wanted to go through that. And I started to focus on two things, my physical fitness and my mental health. And I think it really helped shape me into the person that I will be the time when I found out I was going to get diagnosed.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's quite a crazy journey to have mentioned. I feel like a lot of us feel that way, whereas we live in a certain way, and then as we get older, we neglect ourselves, we get busy with work, with life, and we forget about our bodies and how important they are in everyday life. I
Yeah.
think everyone feels that way.
Yeah, I can imagine the amount of mental fortitude and strength it takes to take such a news and to face it head on. So I do want to ask you, like, I know it's really hard to relive those moments, but do you remember, your thoughts or your thought process during that time where you got your diagnosis and you were thinking that that's a life-changing moment? Like, can you talk us through those, times, those emotions?
Sure. What happened was I was like, I can't. I thought I was gonna, like, I'm not gonna be able to overcome this. But like I said, like, my mental strength really helped me become stronger to face that news, to face something so big and so life-changing. And I was lucky because I was surrounded with my friends, like by my friends at the time. And I was like, how am I going to tell my family? How am I going to tell everyone else? And I don't know, like, I was walking into the unknown. I don't know how I'm going to survive. How am I going to deal with treatment on its own? Am I going to need chemotherapy? What's going to happen? But then I realized that I'm stronger than I think. And that fear, I shut it down. And I was like, I'm going to get through this. And it took a while, but I'm grateful for that moment because it turned me into a completely different person. Like, the person I am at the time of my diagnosis is a newborn baby. And who I am today is because of that day.
Yeah, no, that does make a lot of sense. Like Abdullah said, it's a life-changing moment. It makes you reassess all your priorities in life because it's kind of the thing that you don't expect to happen to you until it does, or if it happens to someone close to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't think, oh my God, I got cancer. Like that's really changes everything in your mind and body. It must have been a complete shock for you.
Yes.
How old were you when you got diagnosed?
I was 31.
Still quite young.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so terrible. And you said that you were working a lot as well, right?
I was working a lot.
What is your work, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a credit analyst in a bank.
Sounds a bit stressful.
It is stressful, but
And
it's good.
did the diagnosis affect your work?
I was lucky at the time, I guess, because my boss was like, you don't need to do anything.
Oh, bless him.
I was like, nope, I'm working. I need something to distract me, and I need. But we were lucky because it was still COVID, and I was able to work from home. And he was very, like, cooperative, and he appreciated the fact that I still wanted to work. So the load was a lot less, but I continued to work, and I'm actually really thankful that I was able to continue with my job, my career, and it helped me progress as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think, you know, people underestimate the influence work has on trying to keep you, you know, off your, you know, as you say in Arabic, humum, right, off your troubles. It's always great to have something where your mind is off, even if it's for a few hours per day.
Yeah,
So, you know, your boss is like an amazing person that he gave you such an opportunity. And then I want to ask you about something because you did mention that before, and even through your college days, you were always into a lot of physical activities. So even after your diagnosis, did you keep that for that time period, or that something took a backseat for a while?
I tried, but it was hard. It was hard. It was something that, like, I wish I could have done more of. I wanted to continue, like, being as active as I can. I take the occasional walk whenever I was able to, but there were days where walking from one point to another within the same room where it was difficult. Um, I didn't know if I could carry myself, and it was like, I'm like, no, you can't. You're stronger than this. Like, you're strong. You're an athlete. And that feeling of not being able to just carry myself was hard. But I knew that it was temporary. Like, there were cycles. In my treatment, there were cycles. There were days where I felt great, and there were days where I didn't. And it was the fact that I knew that after the storm, there comes a rainbow. That's exactly how it felt. So that's how I took it, like, one storm at a time.
Honestly, that's a great way of looking at things. And you're right, healing is non-linear in any case. And this is a very difficult thing that you were faced with.
Yeah,
So, did you feel there were a lot of moments where fear kind of took over from hope?
definitely. Definitely. And especially because at that time it was still COVID.
Mm.
Every sneeze, every cough was like, I have COVID. I'm like, no, I can't. And the chemotherapy that I had to take was a very strong one. So my immunity was shattered. And those were the times where I felt like I can't. I became agitated, I became anxious, and my fear was amplified. But I tried to work on my strength, my hope, my faith, that, like, whatever happens, happens, and we'll deal with it. And that's the only way I could get through those, I would like to say, moments of fear. They were short-lived, thankfully, but they really took a toll on me.
Yeah, I can imagine. And speaking of taking a toll, do you remember like how you dealt with the fear in the moment? Did you just take it head on? Did you try to ignore those emotions? Did you try to suppress them? Like how did you overcome such fears?
It wasn't easy. It was really difficult, especially from the first time I found out, like from the day I found out. I didn't know what was going to happen. I did not know anything. Like, I did not know that there were different kinds. That some would need like strong treatment, some would not need as, and it was that fear that I'm like, what's going to happen? Am I going to have to go and spend days in the hospital? Am I going to get out of the hospital? And it was the late nights when I'd wake up and I was in pain, or it was waking up not knowing if I can get out of bed. Can my body carry me? Um, I had so much hope, and I was already planning. I was planning my life. I was planning what I was going to do. I'm going to come out of this. This is just a speed bump. Stronger. I'm going to come out of this better, and I'm going to appreciate every moment a lot more. And the fear was muted. And from the beginning, those many thoughts helped me mute my fears.
Honestly, that's so heartwarming to hear because the fear is unavoidable, especially when things are unknown. I feel like the unknown is what causes us to be afraid the most or lose hope the most. Sometimes knowing things, even if it's bad, is better than just not knowing. Not knowing can cause your thoughts to go haywire. It can let your hope just deplete entirely. So I feel like I can understand where you're coming from in that sense.
Yeah,
But in terms of your willpower, I'm amazed that you have the mental strength and fortitude, though, to overcome this. And do you think your willpower is what helped you get through this?
definitely. Definitely. And as much as I hated that time, I thank 2020. I thank staying at home. I thank myself, or whatever, lockdown, for us to sit back and reflect.
Yeah.
Because once I sat down and reflected, it made me realize that we can overcome this. If we're going to overcome a global pandemic, we can overcome anything. And I'm just one person. We have 8 billion people in the world. So that little, not that big pandemic really shaped me into who I was going to be at that time.
Yeah, I love how 2020, like in the moment, it was such a fearful, eventful year. But you know, in hindsight, looking back, it was a life-changing year for so many people. And also going back to the thing about hope, you know, hope is a very powerful tool, and that's why throughout history, you know, generals and leaders and everything kept talking about hope because it is the foundation of societies. With that being said, we are going to take a break. We'll come right back after this one.
And we're back from that short break. So, could you tell us a bit more about your journey? We were just talking about your experience with cancer. And I kind of want to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, what type of cancer did you have?
I had triple negative breast cancer.
Oh, that sounds so rough.
Sadly, it is. I can't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But it's an aggressive kind of breast cancer. I think it affects about 5 to 15% of all breast cancers. So I would want to say, like, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. No, even how you mentioned how, as you said, COVID was a time where the whole world was kind of scared and unsure what was going on. So it helped you kind of put things in perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you had to battle this journey on your own as well, which is not easy at all.
For me, as much as I hate that time, it's a time where I'm really grateful. I'm grateful because I am who I am today, because of it. I know I probably would still be living on autopilot. I would still be neglecting myself had I not been diagnosed. I wouldn't be the person I'm proud of today had it not been for my diagnosis. like it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
The-
You know, I think a lot of people would benefit from having such a positive mentality on life, is that we're all being tested by Allah, right? It's all our testament, it's all our journey, and it's how we continue afterwards. And mashallah, you've continued, you know, amazingly afterwards. So let's talk about the afterwards. Like, let's talk about after the treatment. Let's talk about, you know, what step did you take to get your life back in order? Like, you know, you finished your treatment, alhamdulillah. You've gone through the toughest of, you know, tough ordeals. So now you're trying to get your life back in order. So talk us through those kind of steps.
The one thing I really wanted to get back to was sports. I really wanted to go back to it. And for me, it felt like I need to do it now. So I think either a week or two after my last chemo session, I was on a volleyball court.
MashaAllah.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I don't care if I'm weak. I don't care if I can't hit the ball. I'm getting on that volleyball court. And alhamdulillah, like, it was a stepping stone to different experience. I started going back to the things that I really love. Volleyball was definitely something I was passionate about, or I am passionate about. And it welcomed me into different communities, like the volleyball and this physical and the sports communities. It felt really good. But I also had to get my strength back. And I didn't realize just how weak I've gotten till I went back to the gym. But alhamdulillah, like, the mental strength really helped support my physical strength.
Well, you were going through chemotherapy, which is one of the worst things your bodies can go through, I think, especially it's making you better but weaker at the same time. So, how did your relationship with your body change during the illness and after?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it for every step, every moment. There was a time where my arm, after surgery, became pretty numb. So the moment I got back and I started feeling my arm, I was like, yay, I can do it.
That's amazing.
And that's what, like, you learn to appreciate the little things in our bodies. And I neglected it, and now I just want to hug it. I just want to tell it, like, you're doing amazing. So the relationship changed. It helped a lot because I needed that transformation, the way I looked at my body, the way I felt about my body. So it all helped in that sense. But it was not easy. Like right now, I can't, I'm not as strong. But no, that because I said that, it pushed me to go, like, I'm going to be stronger tomorrow, and it's okay. My body has been through so much. It's okay. I'm going to be stronger tomorrow. And day by day, I felt it. I felt my mental and physical strength get better.
Yeah, mashallah. I mean, like they say, journey of 1,000 steps starts by the first step. Do you have like a timeline of when, after treatment, you got back to, let's say, 100% or close to 100% in terms of physicality?
I would like to say I'm still impacted. But I would like to say right now I'm at 1,000%.
Amazing. That's so good to hear.
I'm the strongest I've ever been. And yani, I was given the chance to start over. So I built my physical strength and appreciating my body again from zero. So alhamdulillah.
No, for sure. That's so great to hear, because I think there's like a saying that goes around that a lot of people don't appreciate their health until it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, we take for granted the little things in our body so much, even things that you think aren't a big deal, like being able to pick something up or walk across the room, or little things like that you just take for granted. But if you get hit by a severe illness and that goes away, you start to realize how much your body was doing for you on a daily basis. So I get that you got that whole appreciation back, and because of that, you're never taking it for granted again. And mashallah, like as you said, you're doing quite well now, alhamdulillah, and really pushing yourself. And it's so good to hear, because I know there are a lot of other people out there who might be facing similar problems or journeys, and a lot of them might lose hope. So I think when they see you, they can kind of realize there is hope, there is a way forward. Like my sister-in-law's father, he had throat cancer 3 times, but each time he persevered through it. Mainly, I think, as you said, it's the willpower and determination. He had kids to look after, he had things to do. He's a very kind of analytical kind of man. So he was like, he somehow, even given his age, he was able to persevere each time through it. And I really think willpower and even like the people around you can really have an impact on these times.
Yes, like I think we need the willpower. We don't know, like it's a domino effect. If you don't have the willpower, people like you have family, we have friends, we have people that are, I don't want to say we're looking after, but at that time they were looking after us. So if we lose hope, what's the point? Why I don't want to say disappoint, more as let them lose hope. The hope comes from you.
Yeah.
And if they see that, you're khalas, you're giving up. And they don't want you to give up. So I really believe in willpower, and you do have to be determined that even while going through this, things are going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this goes true because this brings to memory a movie actually. It's called Patch Adams by Robin Williams. And basically, he's a doctor who advocates for treating by laughter. Now, that movie is based actually on a real doctor. Now, that real doctor wasn't treating people by laughter, they were using medicine. But that doctor would try as much as possible to make the mentality, the spirits of the patients, laugh, have funny moments, to take their minds off their diseases. And they saw that the hospital that the doctor works at has a much higher success rate with, the treatment of patients. So mentality is honestly half the battle, even if people don't think it is. A lot of people stop at the mental phase and they're like, oh, this is my life now. But no, having spirits up, it really changes your everything.
It definitely does. What I used to do is before every chemo session, I'd go have pancakes. That would make my day. Like, I'm going to get a chemo session. Why not go have pancakes? And I'd walk in to the session smiling, just because I did something so simple in a different perspective. If you're going to go do something like chemotherapy, do something, I don't want to say fun, but something that will uplift you at least. And it made all the difference. Especially on the day afterwards, all I could think of was how good those pancakes were.
Well, that's an amazing trick, by the way, because as you said, like you're going into something that's quite dark, almost depressing, and yet by just having the pancakes, you allowed your mind and your body to just feel the little joy of just having some pancakes, just something you love. And
Yeah,
just doing that, I'm sure it just gave you so much more, hope and mental strength. And just I've read that like positivity and gratitude can really help heal the body as well.
definitely,
Like it makes
definitely.
such a huge impact versus being negative or sad all the time about things.
If we're gonna sit there and dwell, we're not gonna be able to do anything.
That's so true. And
And
even if you're healthy, it will not get you
it
anywhere.
will not get us anywhere. So try to find the good and the positive in every situation, no matter what, no matter how good or bad. That's how it should be.
It really is.
Yeah, very well said, Nora. Try to find the good in everything. And I really am happy that that's the kind of message we are going to end the episode on because unfortunately we did run out of time. But it's a very important message to always take the things you have and meet them with stride, meet them with, courage and strength because that's the way forward. And I do want to thank you for spending the moment to spread that message today on the Untold.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. And thank you for letting me share my story. Um, I do hope that it does help someone, even if it's just one person. I am happy with that. And thank you.
Well, No, thank you. And it was a pleasure to have you and hear your story. It inspired us. I'm sure it will inspire the people watching. And it's great to know like your message was just so positive and empowering. And it's amazing to hear that someone who struggled as you did was able to see the light through it all and find the appreciation and gratitude for their body and their strength again. And so I want to just thank you again.
Thank you.
And we are going to take a short break and then we'll be back. And that was all we had for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And Abdullah, honestly, talking to Nourah was so inspiring. The way that she battled her cancer and overcame it, I feel like a lot of people could learn from this.
Yeah, honestly, and not even people, for me personally, I took so much out of this episode, right? I took so much out of Nora's words because she was amazingly, I would say encouraging in trying to overcome your ordeals. Even if you have small issues to the biggest troublesomes, it's always great to have her mentality, to face everything head on, tackle it day by day, just have good spirits.
Yeah, her strength and mental fortitude really helped her overcome her challenges, and the way that she was able to find gratitude even in this hardest time, and she became grateful for the experience because it taught her so much about her body and her own strength. I think that's something a lot of people can take away from this.
Yeah, hopefully they can take away a lot of things from this episode because honestly, I've had a great time sitting down with her. With that being said, Lujane, that's the end of today's episode of The Untold. And until the next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye and see you next time.